Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I know it has been some time since we've met. I'm always promising you to be more frequent, but you know how a thing goes sometimes. So it has been a little while since we've met, but I don't think it's too late for me to extend a Happy New Year and best wishes to all of you, your families, your loved ones, and to hope that this year will be a better year for all of us and for our country. The first thing I would like to say is that last year our economy continued on its upward path. And you know, I've spoken about it before, even though the growth it's about 4%, approximately 4%, I think it has to be taken in the context of what is happening internationally and to appreciate the whole international economic and financial environment to say that I think it has been a good year for our country in the form of our growth. What also should be noted is that new areas of growth have developed. You know, at one time we were depending only on sugar, rice, bauxite. Well, we still have those areas are still making major contribution to the development of the economy. But we see other areas in mining has been very important as well, and tourism too has made a very important impact, which tells us that the base of our economy is being broadened and we're diversifying and trying to make our economy more immune from external shocks. And that's the path that we will want to go. In agriculture, we have also seen rice production doing very, very well. We've had some disappointments with sugar. Had sugar reached all their targets, our growth rate would have been much higher because you know sugar has a very big weight in our economy. So hopefully we will get that fixed in the near future. Going forward in the year ahead and in the period immediately ahead of us, we are continuing to focus on creating the right environment for further economic growth and social development within the society. I had planned to meet with you some time ago after my visit to Brazil. It was a one-day visit to Brazil, but I thought it was a very productive day. I had a meeting with the president of Brazil, and we spoke about what I consider some of the very important, new important projects that I think are coming closer and closer to fruition and coming to some agreement that we can work on. And this will include like the road, the deep water harbor, more hydropower facilities, and all of these possibilities are there. And hopefully in the new month, I will probably be meeting with establishing a technical team from Brazil and from Guyana to start to work and to try to bring these things into operation as early as possible. You have heard a lot in the past about the Amila Falls deal, and we still have not closed all the financial arrangement, but we are working hard, and I hope by the second or third quarter of this year that we can conclude on that. And that too, I'm sure you're aware, is a very important and transformative project. We are also looking at a new crossing of the Demerara River because the traffic situation is has become the need for a new crossing, I think, is there because of the volumes of traffic and the movement of goods and people. And I'm very much aware also of some of the difficulties that people have with transportation, the new housing schemes that we have made and people moving and traveling. So I've asked the Minister of Transport to come up with a plan for us to see how we can, in the soonest possible time, for us to deal with the situation as it relates to transport, people getting home from work, late children on the road late sometime after school. So we're working on that, and one of the projects, of course, would be the increasing the volumes or increasing the possibility, the capacity of the Demerara River crossing. A lot of proposals, some proposals are already with us, but we're going to be looking for more and making a decision on what kind of model we use to work on that. But that is an important project that we have to look at in the future. Wood processing too is important. I don't know if, I think probably in many, not all of those who have newspapers, who represent newspapers, you will see there's an advertisement today, people advertising for about 700 jobs, 260 of which I think is for the construction of a new plant, wood processing plant in Region 10, the Linden area. And that I think is a very, very important one as well. In the mining we spoke about earlier, of course, is being diversified now, not only bauxite, but gold has become important. Manganese, they are working soon to, by the end of this year or the next year, to have the manganese operation into commercial operation. And new interest in a new bauxite mine is quite possible as well in the near future. So I think in those areas, things are looking very, very, very well at this point in time. So, and in agriculture, we're looking to establish, to diversify, we're studying some interest and proposals made to us for some diversification in agriculture, look at new crops and look at big farms as well, mega farms. So I think we have a busy time ahead of us, an exciting time ahead to work on all of these things to get them moving. Oil, of course, we're still very optimistic. Some of the companies here are ready to work to start back drilling offshore. At the political level, well, I think you are all very familiar. I think most of you have been covering the parliament to see how things are going there. Last night it was one of the better nights, I think, because it shows some level of people willing to work together. But generally, if you look at the assessment, I still see the opposition still pursuing issues that are glaringly unconstitutional. And obviously, I can only say that they are using that for political purposes and for agitational purposes, because they have a lot of lawyers on their side. And I myself am not a lawyer, but I'm advised that most of these things are unconstitutional. I want also to deal with the issue that you have been asking and you have been writing about and reporting on a lot, the question of transparency. And many of the speculation in the media about some of the arrangement with government, and that is why I have asked the Ministry of Finance and NISIL all along to work on a document which I have now, and I'm going to distribute it to you, but I'll do that in an electronic form, with all the details of the privatizations that have been done by this government from 1993 all to 2012, which will cover a lot of the areas, with everything, with the advertisement that was done, the evaluation that was done, the process, all the processes that are here and so forth. And I sincerely hope that this will end a lot of speculation, because you will be having some facts in your hand. As you know also, NISIL accounts, because NISIL has been targeted a lot, NISIL accounts have been laid in the National Assembly up to the year 2010. So all of these talk about unaccountability and so forth. I hope that we can put these things to rest Many of the projects, you are aware that very early in my administration, that I had the opposition, the main opposition leaders here at OP, and we spoke to them about their Myla Falls. I said then, and I state again, that I'm still ready to work with them to give them any information they want on many of the other projects. Many of the other projects that are still not, some of them have not come to fruition as yet, but you know, some of these things are commercial. That's why I'll talk to them more directly, and when the time comes for them to be made totally public, as we're doing with this, we will also do that at that point in time. So I think those are some of the issues I wanted to raise with you and to give you this information, which the comments will circulate to you just now, on all the areas. In the document, we have the transparency, we have the date of when these things were advertised, the date submitted to the privatization board by the privatization unit for consideration, the date submitted to the cabinet for approval, date that the transaction was completed. Details of the transactions, including the type of transaction, the name of the buyer, the proceeds received, the final destination of the proceeds, whether it was paid to the government of Guyana, NISIL, or to other entities. Advertisement, each transaction is analyzed from the perspective of whether they were advertised or sold following a failed response from an advertisement or otherwise. Any transaction not advertised if explained in the footnotes of the document that I'm going to give you now. And also the criteria determining the buyer. The matrix is provided in the document for various explanations on what criteria was used in the evaluation. So all of this information now would be out there for you, so that you have something concrete that you can look at when you're writing your stories and your news. And I hope that it will end a lot of the speculations that have been there. So this is what I would like to stop here at this point in time and take a few questions from you at this point in time.
Mr. President, a few. Could you basically first update us on the budget consultation and what is happening 1 year after with the tax reform committee?
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, on a lighter note, we would really like to view the T20 cricket on state TV. If you could help there somewhere sorting that out, what's the reason for it happening there? And thirdly, NIS.
Okay.
What exactly is the government going to be doing going forward to address this problem?
All right. The first one relates to what the first issue? The budget. Well, you know that I've said publicly, and I've told the Minister of Finance to have extensive consultation on budget measures. I think today he's meeting with some interest groups that are involved, but I also told him to also engage the opposition and in consultation as far as the budget is concerned. So I hope that will be quickened now after the holiday period, so these consultations can go on, and hopefully that we can have a budget that would be acceptable to all the parties in Parliament, that we can go forward. So that, I expect, will take on much more speed at this point in time. As far as the tax reform work was done, you know, it was held up because one of the persons got sick, and my view at one time was that we should have acceleration as far as the VAT was concerned, because that seems to be the most contentious issue that everybody was talking about. But the committee, they were telling me that it needs to be done in a broader way. So I've agreed to them to do a broader study, and I hope that they can have that study done as early as possible so that we can look at it. But I also told them, in doing their broader study, to give emphasis to the VAT so that we can deal with that issue as fast as possible.